I wake up every morning full of energy and passion to meet my day and share that enthusiasm with students and clients. Some people have remarked at my staying power and my ability to go from one thing to another nonstop all day long. But it wasn't always that way. You wouldn't have recognized me 10 years ago. In fact, some days I hardly had the strength to get out of bed. But let me back up further to the time of my first pregnancy, to the very beginning of the story. I knew I wanted to have a baby from the time I was a little girl, and so when the circumstances were right, I spent months preparing my body and my mind for a conscious, healthy conception, gestation, and birth. I spent hours each day meditating, doing yoga, and connecting with this soul that had chosen me to be its mother. My guru at the time had prepared special meditations, one for each trimester and stages of fetal development. I was especially inspired by the book, Communing with the Spirit of Your Unborn Child. And then the unthinkable happened. She died when I was 2 weeks away from my due date. The autopsy was inconclusive. My first reaction was grief, but that was immediately followed by rage. How could this have happened? I thought I had done everything right. Was this some sort of cosmic joke? I burned my meditation tapes, I threw out all the books, and set about trying to forget it all, the biggest trauma I had ever experienced. 6 months later, I started getting sick. And I was finally diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Autoimmune conditions. Very interesting. The body attacking itself. I spent the next 12 years trying everything I could. Everything I could to try and heal myself. Nothing worked for very long, and many days I was weak, hapless, helpless, and hopeless. Common words used by people with autoimmune conditions. Near the end of those 12 years, I came across a very weird-looking technique that did what all the others had not done. Made the connection between that trauma and my body's reaction to it. I feverishly started to self-apply this strange tapping thing, but not before I needed to suspend my disbelief long enough and feel some courage to face the fact that I had this pain that I had suppressed for so long. In 3 weeks of working night and day, my circuits started lighting up and I regained my energy and finally did one of the things that I didn't even know I needed to do during my 12-year search. I made peace with and forgave Great Spirit for its betrayal, which, as it turns out, had not been a betrayal at all, just a push towards discovering my life's purpose, to share EFT with others. That was almost 10 years ago, and since then I've helped trauma victims in Israel, trained people to work with different and varied populations, from pre-K students to prisoners to suicidal teens in the LGBT community, and I've raised thousands for ongoing research with EFT in the areas of gene expression and PTSD with combat veterans. About 3 years ago, a new organization was created with the intention to bring EFT to the mainstream, buttressed with research and science. I was asked to be one of their original trainers. A few months later, when the head of that organization, Dawson Church, was interviewing me for his radio show, he mentioned my healing story, and then mentioned that he, too, had a strong affinity for pre-birth soul connections, and that he had, in fact, written a small book on it 20-some-odd years before. When he said it was none other than communing with the spirit of your unborn child, I nearly fell off my chair. Immediately after the interview, I looked online to verify what I thought I had heard him say. His name hadn't registered as the author of the book I had thrown out decades before. So I'm here in front of you to say this. If you think that some of your greatest tragedies are still deep wounds and sources of suffering, keep looking for the messages and opportunities that are there for you. If you haven't found them, keep searching for more ways to heal yourself, and you too will start to connect the dots of your life circumstances and realize that your greatest pain has the inherent possibility of becoming your greatest gift.